Okay, good evening, everyone. The 5 p.m. hour is upon us, so I would like to call to order a regular meeting of the Wausau Board of Education on Monday, March 14th, 2022. Ms. Peck, if you would please do the roll call.
Jim Boucher.
Here.
John Kreischer.
Here.
Kyle Lowe. Cody Nicolai.
Here.
Jane Roosh. Lance Trollope.
Here.
Karen Vandenberg. Here. Lee Webster. Pat McKee.
Here. I know Ms. Roosh was thinking about joining virtually. Was she able to?
She's on the phone. She just joined.
Okay. Jane, can you hear us? Okay, so we can note her as a virtual
Yeah, she just popped up on that screen.
attendance. Okay, wonderful.
Have Lee contacted anyone?
Thank you.
I thought Lee was contacting somebody. Did he contact anybody then?
Yeah, he let us know he wasn't going to be here, but yeah. Yeah, that was it. Okay. All right, if everyone would stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, it is the mission of the Wausau School District to advance student learning, achievement, and success. Agenda item 5, public and student comment. Thank you.
Can I just talk? Can you hear me? Or do I got to talk into the mic?
Yeah, we'll go through just a couple quick procedures for you, and then you can begin. Please preface your comments with your name, address, and/or group affiliation, if appropriate. Your statement will be limited to 3 minutes in length. You should direct all comments to the board and not to other participants. Speakers bear the personal risk if anything he or she says during public comment period is defamatory, slanderous, or otherwise harmful to another individual. The presiding officer may call for recess or adjournment to another time when the lack of public decorum so interferes with the conduct of the meeting as to warrant such action. So, having said that, you can state your name and address.
My name is Steve Frodel. I'm with the NC-CAP AmeriCorps team in Greater Wausau area. We've been working with the Wausau School District since the mid-late 90s. This week happens to be AmeriCorps week. I've given you our brochure. My contact information is in there. There's a couple good websites to kind of check out somewhere on there too, on the bottom right there. Please do, if you've got any questions. I literally get paid to talk about AmeriCorps and would be happy to do so. But AmeriCorps week is March 13th to the 19th. That's this week. Today's the 14th. During AmeriCorps week, we recognize the commitment of millions of Americans who have chosen to serve their country through AmeriCorps and AmeriCorps seniors and encourage others to follow in their footsteps of service. AmeriCorps engages 250,000 Americans each year in sustained, results-driven service through our AmeriCorps and AmeriCorps Seniors programs. These dedicated citizens help communities manage COVID-19 response, ensure students stay on track to graduate, combat hunger and homelessness, respond to natural disasters, fight the opioid epidemic, help seniors live independently, support veterans and military families, and much more. I found this off the website. You can Google search AmeriCorps Wausau. You'll find my contact information. Basically, we pay federal dollars. We pay federal taxes. Some of those tax dollars come back through Madison into the Wausau area to address a local problem with a local solution and matching local resources. Our focus area is education. In the past 23 years, we kind of changed from ESL education with like the second wave of Southeast Asian Hmong refugees and ELL type mentoring and tutoring. And then we expanded to more of a income-driven, poverty-driven, disadvantaged clientele, free and reduced lunch kids. We do a lot. There's a lot to say, there's a lot to learn, and thanks for your continued support. You are one of the partners who have been with us the entire while, and the result shows. When I went to the career fair the other day, what I used to know as students are now the teachers. So, the students are turning into AmeriCorps members, the AmeriCorps members are turning into the teachers, the counselors and stuff. It's a really good feeling to see that. When I look into our future, I have hope. Thanks, and thanks for being a part of it. If you got any questions.
My only comment would be thank you for coming to speak to this tonight and raising awareness, and also thank you for the longstanding partnership. We get a lot of great value out of this, so thank you.
And happy AmeriCorps Week.
Okay. Okay, that was the only item tonight for public and student comment. Moving on, agenda item 6, approval of the consent agenda, which includes appointments, separations, leaves of absence, retirements, minutes from the special session of January 17th, 2022, special session of January 24th, 2022, regular session of February 14th, 2022, special session of February 14th, 2022, and special session of February 28th, 2022. Payment of bills, budget status and investment reports, CESA 9 shared services contract, donations to the district. And this month, those include Burns Post number 388, Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States, Cheryl Wolkin, Marathon County Retired Education Association, UMR, Georgia Bratz, and the Wausau Noon Optimist Club. I will seek a motion to approve the consent agenda with extreme gratitude for all of those donations to the district.
So moved.
We have our first and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, moving right along, we are on item 7, old and recurring business from the Education Operations Committee. First item under that, at the February Education Operations Committee meeting, Tabitha Gundrum reviewed district goals related to attracting and retaining staff, as well as staff wellness, WECAN application data, survey data, retention rate history, wellness program data, and health insurance claims data were also reported. Ms. Gundrum also shared the next steps for each of those goals. There was a lot of information shared that time, so thank you again. Okay, that was not an action item, information only. Next one is an action item. At the February Education Operations Committee meeting, Keith Hiltz and Tabitha Gundrum shared an update on COVID mitigation in the district. Do we have any updates to that?
I don't think so, no.
Okay. So my only question is, on the motion, do we need to include the transportation after we realize that it wasn't? So I can exclude that from the, okay. And just for clarification there for everybody, there was a question during the last meeting about whether or not we actually needed to take action to remove masking on the bus. And the answer is no, because we never had to take action, or we didn't take action to enforce it. That was all federally driven. Therefore, we don't have to take action to undo it. It was just done. Thus, we could do it right away and not have to wait for this meeting in order for it to take effect. So that's the reason for the change. So, having said that, I would like I'll seek a motion to move to return staff and students to pre-pandemic absence procedures.
So moved.
Second.
First and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Okay, the next item, ESSER 3 community stakeholder feedback. The American Rescue Plan Act provides one-time funds for our district through the elementary and secondary school emergency relief grant program. This is the third iteration of it. At the February Education Operations Committee meeting, the board heard information about the grant and an explanation of what lies ahead. Again, not an action item, information only. Mr. Tess is not. He's online.
Follow-up question.
Okay. All right. Moving on. Item number 4, this is an action item. At the February Education Operations Committee meeting, Diana White presented the proposed new policy 7544 regarding social media. Did we make the change that Jane? Okay, so we're good to go with the version as is. Okay. All right, any other comments or? I guess I'll seek a motion first. So I'm seeking a motion to approve policy 7544, social media, as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any other questions or comments about that one? Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, new business, and very timely new business considering the recent history here. Girls Hockey Co-op Agreement. This is an action item. Dr. Jennifer Rauscher will present this time-sensitive Girls Hockey Co-op Agreement. And I just want to say, obviously, I think everyone knows, congratulations to the Central Wisconsin Storm for that, dare I say, dominating championship win. 5-0 hat trick by Samantha Federici, 2 goals by Gabby Heiser. What an afternoon it was. So that was wonderful. And to the coaches too. They do a wonderful job, and that's a lot of time commitment on everyone's part. But really, really proud. They represent the districts that they represent very well. So having said that,
Thank you. That was most of the presentation. Congratulate all the athletes and their families and their coaches on just a fantastic season. And the ask tonight is that you renew the co-op so that they can continue this really successful partnership. And it's an annual renewal. So as we've talked about, it's one that's been very successful and serves not just our students, but a lot of other schools very well.
I didn't realize how many schools were in that.
Yep.
Yeah, there's quite a few.
Just for the public, certainly East and West, also DC Everest, Marathon, Merrill, and Mosinee all contribute to that co-op team.
Wonderful. Okay. Any questions or comments about this item? All right. Hearing none, I'm seeking a motion to approve the Girls Hockey Co-op Agreement with Merrill, Mosinee, DC Everest, Wittenberg, Burnhamwood, Wausau East, and Wausau West as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Any other comments? None. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, well, this is record time so far, I think, during my tenure up here, but we're going to take it. Open forum. So, board member professional growth and development report. Does anyone have anything to share regarding board member development for the last month?
I have a couple of things pertaining to Association of School Boards. Thank you very much, President McKee. In February, we met as directors down in Madison, and it was told to us at that time that at the conference and at the General Assembly, the membership basically has stated that the directors should make a decision pertaining to the NSBA. As you may know, the NSBA situation, that goes back a couple of months. That is still something that's occurring and being discussed pertaining to whether it will continue as an association, whether people are going to stay in the association, or another association will begin to replace the NSBA. And right now, there is an association that has been put together by, I want to say, 20 states and about 5 states that are looking at joining that consortium to begin a new association nationally. And so the discussion is going to continue at the following directors meeting in April, and we will continue to talk about this, whether we leave the NSBA or whether the state of Wisconsin stays with NSBA, and that would be the association, Wisconsin Association of School Boards, making that decision. So that is the big discussion point that people should be aware of, so we're not blindsided about what's going to possibly happen or may not happen. We'll wait and see. But after April, I believe it's April 9th and 10th, when the meetings take place, and that will be a major discussion at that time. John Ashley has done a great presentation on whether we should stay or not. He is trying to stay in the middle because the membership has stated that it is the director's decision as the board of the WASB that they should be making the decision, and it should not be John Ashley, the administrator, doing that. But he does work with NSBA very carefully and very closely and very directly throughout the 17, 18 years that he's been in this position. So his input plays a big part as well. So anyway, that's just an informational comment about what's going on with NSBA and WASB.
Can you tell us, Jim, when that decision will be made by? Because I remember from the assembly that was voted that the directors will make the decision. Is there a deadline as to when they'll determine?
Well, I'm not going to say when it's going to be because I'm not sure. I'm thinking that it could be made the 8th and 9th of April. It could be postponed and waiting on that. The membership of the NSBA has already been paid. So we, as the WASB school boards, we already belong to the association nationwide at this point in time. So many of our members are going to the national conference, and they didn't want to lose that opportunity to go to the national conference. And so there's so much discussion going on, but I wanted to make sure that you knew about it and you knew what was going on from what we know at this point in time.
Did they also talk about what would happen if they did vote to leave?
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
They also talk about what would happen if they did vote to leave?
If we were to vote to not be a part of the NSBA, we would be joining the other consortium that's being put together at this point in time. According to my conversations with John Ashley, he knows the administrators of these states and predominantly the central states of the U.S. Those are the states that are looking at, or that are part of the 20. The other, we're one of the 3 that are still on the fence here. I believe it's Iowa and Michigan and Wisconsin. We're still looking at it and trying to get information from as many people as possible before that vote takes place. So it could be the 8th and 9th of April, or it could be pushed off to the next meeting.
My understanding was the resolution said we had to have national representation. So it wasn't that we would leave and have nothing. We would be leaving and moving to this other
Correct.
consortium.
Correct.
Ed, I think we're getting into the weeds here. I think this needs to be put on the agenda for the next meeting because it's not noticed.
Well, it is noticed for professional growth and development, and Vice President Boucher certainly is an active part of that. But we can, I don't know that there's any other comments anyways. So if you want it put on a future agenda item, we can certainly do that.
Well, it would have to be the next one if it's going to be before the vote.
Okay.
I think there could be a much more discussion on this. It's just that development and is for, say what you did, not to discuss it so in depth. I'm just worried that we're going to be violating some open records because if some community member wanted to speak on this, we haven't given them the chance.
Sure. Were you done?
That was it.
All right.
That was it.
Those were the extent of the comments. All right. Okay, any other board members have any professional growth or development? All right, hearing none. Next item, Ms. Lowe, legislative update.
Yeah, thank you. Hold on. So today, the Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction did make a announcement that they will be holding a public hearing on a proposed rule related to equivalent experience for student teachers. So that would amend Wisconsin Admin Code of Chapter PI 34 in respect to equivalent experience for student teachers who are enrolled in an educator preparation program. And so that hearing will be Wednesday, March 23rd at 11:30 a.m. So there will be a teen summit to end domestic abuse. It's called End Domestic Abuse Wisconsin, and they will host a 2022 statewide teen summit called Revolutionary Acts. It'll be held June 12th through the 14th at the Kalahari Resort and Convention Center in Wisconsin Dells. So they will be training, and training has been developed by and for young people. It brings together youth, parents, educators, and mentors from across Wisconsin and the surrounding area to learn about individual and community healing, anti-violence work centering those most impacted, and imagining violence-free futures. So they're going to have educational speakers, youth-led workshops, artistic performances that include spoken word, and featured keynotes will offer attendees interactive experiences that align with the summit's theme of revolutionary acts. Their keynote speaker is going to be 21-year-old Melissa Denizard. I think that would be a great conference for teens to learn more about domestic abuse and teen relationships. Let's see. And then Disability Rights Wisconsin and the Survival Coalition, they are both Wisconsin disability organizations. So they both came out with two statements regarding the Senate education votes last week. They basically said that they were disappointed in the Senate's decision to conclude the state Senate session not to pass AB 966 and AB 970. And so they just basically said that the state Senate failed to use state surplus dollars to relieve chronic underfunding for students with disabilities. And then last but not least, back in November or December, Senator Tammy Baldwin, she did come to Wausau to attend the opening of the Hmong Museum. And so because of that visit, she did write legislation called the Legacies of War Recognition and Unexploded Ordnance Removal Act. So that would fund the removal of unexploded ordnances left behind in Vietnam, Cambodia, and Laos due to the Vietnam War. So it is a bipartisan legislation that she wrote. It is also supported by Jerry Moran of Kansas. And so hopefully that legislation will go through Congress and pass. So it's a recognition of the Southeast Asian diaspora and the unexploded ordinances that occurred in Southeast Asia during the Vietnam War. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. All right, superintendent commentary, Dr. Hiltz.
Thank you. Just a reminder, the information sessions about the referendum continue. Many of you have engaged in, excuse me, in those sessions. We have one more on Thursday, excuse me, at Hawthorne Hills. This one, we are going to have a Hispanic interpreter, making it a little easier for Hispanic families to be there and engage with us. Mr. Tony Gonzalez is going to offer his support and interpreting skills. So Thursday, I think 5 o'clock. So if any of you can make it. 6 o'clock. Thank you.
How time flies.
I would have been there early, that's
Is that daylight savings time thing?
right, yes, thank you.
Okay. All right. I would draw everyone's attention to the written board member liaison district activity report and ask that that report be entered into the official record. And with that, I will seek a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening. But you guys,
That was the
I was just
fastest
gonna say,
I've ever seen. I've never seen that. Of any board meeting I've been at.
you guys were all,
What's that?
What are your thoughts about
Leave.